Welcome to Slur Academy, and today we have a gospel song going through the mix together. Alright, so I have a bunch of audio tracks here, the strum, the shakers, chimes, and all that. So all these stems was brought from FL Studio, except for the strum, the guitar strum. Alright, so this is the guitar strum, was converted to audio and brought into the project as audio, as you can see here. Alright, so I'm going to be using the strum, the kick, and the overhead drums, the chimes, and the shaker, just to go through the vocal mix. Alright, so you can see there's an intro going on here under the speech. Alright, you have
Jesus Christ, yesterday, today, and forever.
Alright, so after the intro, you can see the lead vocal comes in here. Then we have some backup tracks here. Alright, the backup tracks singing at this point. And then some tracks are muted, and all these muted tracks are probably running some ad-libs on the chorus. So these are the major lead vocals. Everything muted here are the ad-libs running on the backup tracks. That is just the layout of the track. Okay, so we are going to start from the lead vocal. All right, so I'm going to be cycling this. Okay, so if you don't know how to cycle this, you can just select all the lead vocals, this part that you're working on. This should be the first verse, then just type P. For example, you have something like this, or maybe something like this. So after selecting this, just press P on the keyboard to cycle this. Okay, so and you can remove this cycle, this blue shading mark, by clicking on this, okay, to activate or deactivate. Another way you can do that is place your mouse on this part until you can see hand coming up. Click on it to activate or deactivate this cycle. Okay, so the speech, the lead, the chorus lead, which is the CH, the ad-libs, every ad-libs I'm going to be adding will be on this track. Okay, so I'm not going to be using all this. I'm going to be extracting vocals from all this and be bringing them to the ad-libs. Because this is gospel, it is not ideal for lead vocals to overlap each other. Okay, except it's featuring. The featuring artist can overlap the other artist, but it is not ideal for lead vocal singing and then overlapping itself. It doesn't sound real, it doesn't happen in the real life. Okay, so you are going to avoid that, and that is why the ad-libs are going to be coming from other tracks, but it's going to be on a single track so that you avoid overlapping. All right, you can see when this channel ends here, another one takes off, another one starts, another one takes off, and that is how a gospel track should look like. In case of a secular tracks, you can have the same voices running different types of harmonies, ad-libs, and all that on each other, but a gospel have a different, slightly different approach to this. Okay, so all that being said, we are going to route all this track from here, speech, lead. We are going to route them to a group track. All right, by right clicking on them. After selecting those tracks, you click on the first one, hold down the shift to the last one, which is the ad-libs. Right click on any of them, go to add track, and then you are going to click on the group track to selected tracks. Okay, so there is a slight difference between this and this. This is going to create a group track, but it's not going to connect all the selected track to it, but this is going to connect all selected tracks to this group track. So I've done that, and this is the track I resorted to, the lead bus. Okay, L bus. So on this lead bus, we are going to be adding couples of plugins to treat our lead vocal, and you can see there should be some strip silence going on here to remove the noise or unnecessary sound coming in between those words. So those parts you would like to retain are the parts that you might be having some breath. Okay, like this part, you can have a breath coming in here. You understand? This breath, you might want to retain some breath work before the actual note. Okay, so all that being said, I'm going to be treating those vocals using some plugins, and the first plugin I'm going to be working on is the compressor, Fabfilter compressor. That is the Fabfilter Pro C. So I'm using the C2 here, and I have my threshold set to -24, the ratio at 4. The more you increase this ratio, the more breath or rising you feel on that vocal. So I'm going to be setting 4, not too much. If you go lesser than 3, you are going to be having a less effect of this compressor acting on your vocal. All this depends on taste anyway. So I'm setting my attack to fast attack, not to slow release. Okay, so I'm using a sidechain here because of the depth of the singer. I'm going to be putting on this part, this frequency, to cut off. All right, so I'm doing a high pass or a low cut on the sidechain. This simply means that the compressor will bypass these frequencies, okay, from 626 Hz here down to 20 Hz is going to be bypassed. There won't be effect of compression on them, and the compression will start from this frequency 639, 624, around that frequency to almost the 20 Hz at the end of it. All right, so that is the explanation for this first plugin, and let's see how it sounds on the project.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King and your Creator.
So from here now,
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
Immediately I put on the compressor, you can feel the energy on the track.
I am the Lord, I am the Lord, I am the Lord.
Another thing you notice on the track is a kind of leveling. Okay, when the compressor is switched off on the track, you will notice some parts coming down on the dynamics. Okay, so a compressor will help you to work on the dynamics of the vocal. It will help to level up the vocal. Okay, so the low part will be compensated, brought up, and the high part will be notched down. Okay, so you have from here,
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
and after the compressor, I want to add a DeEsser to work on the E's, the S, the bringing them down, and on the EQ scale from this part now, you have 5506, that is around 5k, 5 kilohertz. Around this 5k here is what you are talking about on this is. So now you might want to start your ease around 10 kilohertz, between 10 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz, depending on the result you want. So for now, I might want to go to around 8 kilohertz. So I want the deesser to act upon the frequency between 8 kilohertz down to 20 kilohertz. So what a deesser does is that it brings down this frequencies that you have set from that point you have set upward. All right, it's attending to the high frequencies in the project, most especially those parts you are calling an East S and all those high sibilance. It's going to bring them down. So that makes it a dynamic plugin because it's going to be listening to those frequencies and then bringing them down, back up, and that is why you have a threshold. So as soon as you set the threshold, you will notice that there will be a kind of compression that will occur, and that is what makes it a dynamic plugin. All right, so any energy that rise above this threshold will be what compressed. That is just what the deesser does. So let's listen to it being activated.
I am the Lord.
So you can see the energy here is not getting to this threshold we set, and there won't be any deheasing, any compression going on. Now, it is not the total energy that you are looking out for, but the energy that is coming from this frequency around 8 kilohertz upward. These are the frequency that the deesser is listening to. So you are going to be looking at this meter to get the energy signal.
I am the Lord.
So the average energy signal at this point is around 40. Okay, so as soon as you are coming close to 40, what happens? You start getting a compression here.
I am the Lord.
And why you are not really getting this dynamics compression going on here is because the words are not featuring the I sibilance here, the S sounds and all that. So let's look for the words that feature such sounds.
The Holy One, I am your King and your Creator.
Good. Then you have and your Creator. The creator here, the TT sound, the deesser will have more effect on that word. So let's see what happened there.
Creator.
You can see to.
Creator.
You can see. So without the deesser at this point, there will be a sharp sound coming from the creator.
Creator.
You can see the to.
Creator. Creator. Oh, Creator.
With the deesser, that will be taken care of.
Oh, Creator.
You can see it. Let's back off a bit.
Oh, Creator.
Okay.
Oh, Creator.
So in review, what we have just done is with the compressor, we add a kind of energy to it. Secondly, we level up the vocals, okay, the dynamics when the sound is going up, rising and falling. Those are the dynamics. We try to level them up to balance them, and after that we try to notch down the excess frequency coming from the high frequencies. Okay, so what we are still trying to do is to have a balanced vocal, and you can see you have to also remove the silence to make your vocal clean. If I release all this silence, you'll be hearing some noise, maybe from the vocal booth, maybe from the environment where the person is singing, okay, and immediately your brain will just tell you the recording is noisy. But by doing this, when you're supposed to hear the surrounding sound, that one has been removed, and so your brain will calculate that as clean voice. So not necessarily that the vocal has to be extremely clean, but by doing all this, you are ensuring that you are maintaining a clean sound. Okay, it's just a trick on the brain to let the listener feel that the artist is actually recording in a very clean environment. All right, after that, we find a need to remove some excess frequencies. Here I'm going to be doing a low cut around 40 hours, okay, 50 hours. All right, so I'm going to be removing the low end so you can have your kick and your bass to breathe at those points. You don't want the lead vocal to compete with those kinds of instruments. You want the lead vocal to stay in his own space, while the other frequencies like the bass and the kick will stay in their own space. By so doing, you are doing what we call a sound separation. All right, around this side there used to be a kind of boxy sound depending on the environment you are recording. Okay, if you are recording in non-treated environment, you'll be getting a lot of this signal coming around 200 Hz to 300 Hz. You'll be getting a kind of boxy sound, so it's good to take care of that, because the artist was not recording in a very treated cubicle. And then at this point, you're trying to help the DeEsser to do more of his work. So here you are taking care of a sharpness on the high end. Here you are taking care of the boxy sound around 200 Hz, and here you are taking care of the depth of the voice. So let's see how it sounds.
Creator, I am the Lord.
You see that boxy sound rising at this point, looking at the analyzer.
I am the Lord.
Okay, so that is why this is there. It's taking care of that. And this is a Kirchhoff EQ. This part is not just by you EQing them, okay, because it is not throughout the sound that you will get the same level of boxy sound around this point. So you want to right click and activate dynamic. Okay, reduce the threshold of this so that you start seeing how that dynamics begin to work. All right, so let's bring down the threshold.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
So you can see the yellow line.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
The threshold settings determines how much the dynamics will work on that part.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
There are some points it's leveled and some points it's being brought down, and being brought down is not constant. Okay, it's not static. It is not the same level at a point to the other point. There are different levels. That is why you need a dynamics there. The same thing happens to this part.
I am the Lord.
So you can see it's not coming down because you have not in that part that we are playing, there is no sharpness on the high end, so it's going to remain the same. But if you have equalized this, it's going to still affect the overall sound. So you don't want to equalize, but you want to use a dynamic.
I am the Lord,
Stay constant,
the Holy One.
stay fine.
I am your King.
You can see the king. That is when you hear that part dropping down.
Your King.
You can see
Your King.
that's the sharpness we are talking about. So this part is taking care of that. This is taking care of the boxy sound, and this is taking care of the low end. All right, the next plugin we'll be using here is the T-Rack 5 limiter. This is a multi-band limiter. Why is it a multi-band? Because it doesn't set limit to the overall sound, but it breaks them into frequency. 4 bands. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the low, this is the high, and these are the mids. You have the low mid and the high mid bands. Okay, so at this point it means that you can set different threshold, attack, release, and gain to all those parts. So it's not just EQing them, okay, but it's by adding compression to some points that are exceeding. So there's slight difference between limiter and compressor. All right, so we explained that in another video, but what this is going to be doing is going to ensure that a particular frequency, a level, does not shoot out of range of the threshold that you have set. Okay, so we are trying to use this to take care of more problems in the vocal.
Your king and your creator.
So you can see we are doing much work here on the low mid frequency. All right,
Your king and your creator. I made a way.
another purpose of this plugin is to generate a tone for the voice. All right, so you can see the tone of the voice change. Put them off, you see what you're hearing now.
I am your king.
With this,
I am your king.
so you have a softer sound here because you have some compression going on at the mid part of the frequency.
I am your king.
Okay, so you have a softer sound. By so doing, you are generating tone for the vocal.
I am your king.
So at this point, I'm increasing this gain to have more of brightness coming into the voice.
I am your king and your creator. I made a way through the desert.
All right, so we move on to a UAD plugin that is called the Fairchild compressor. This is a compressor, and every compressor has their own color that they add to the project. The compressor we use here, the Fabfilter Pro C, has its own function. What we use that to do is to add some energy and level up the voice, but here we are using this to add some color to what has been done already. All right, so let's see what it's doing here.
I am your king.
You can see the vocal is more stronger now, coming out from this softness that is being caused by this limiter. Now is being like a kind of glue, okay, and adding a kind of coloration on the voice.
I am your king and your creator. I made a way.
Next, we are adding another EQ here, and on this EQ you have from 200 Hz. Then we have the mid, which you can change from 200 Hz. Of course, the range of this EQ is from 200 Hz, and you can tweak it up to 7 kilohertz. That's 7,000 Hz. But here we are dealing with around 2K here. So at the 200 Hz frequency, we are creating a boost. So this will allow you to pick a frequency and do a boost on that frequency. Since we have low cut here, okay, so we still want to add some depth to the voice, and that is why we are adding this EQ to create a lifting. In this case, we are not just increasing the overall low frequency here, this low band, but we are dealing with this actual frequency 200. So there is a lifting at this point to increase the depth of that voice. And at the mid part, you have low, you have mid, and you have high. At the mid part, we are dealing with this frequency here, 2K, around this part, and we are also creating a lifting. So what we are trying to do is to add more clarity to the voice. All right, by lifting this, there is a kind of clarity that is added to it by lifting this. So we are lifting some particular frequencies, 2 kilohertz lifting, and 200 Hz at the low end. So you might also still want to go forward here to make it more brighter.
I am your king and your creator. I made a way.
All right, what this mid attempt is doing is that instead of boosting this frequency, is nudging it down. So it's like bringing down this 2K a bit, increasing this part a bit, and then increasing this part. By so doing, you are softening the voice and adding clarity to the voice.
I am your king and your creator. I made a way through the desert, caused my angels to go before you.
All right, so the next plugin is going to be the Triple D. This is one of the magical plugin that you use to correct your vocal frequencies. 98% of vocal recordings feature Boxy sounds that are very difficult to remove, but this plugin does magic. It's from Wave. It's called the Triple D, and what this will do is that the more you increase the Boxy, the more the Boxy sound will be eradicated from the voice. So let's see what it does.
I am your king and your creator.
You can see abusing it now. You will clearly see what it's doing.
I am your king and your creator. I made a way through the desert.
This is adding more clarity to the voice. All right, and after that we are adding another EQ to balance up everything that we have done. So this is like a reverse of what happens in this plugin. All right, so now there is a boost around 200 here, 200 Hz. This is 200 Hz. Now there was a boost here. This is a Fabfilter Q4. It has a spectrum. The difference between the normal dynamics and the spectral dynamics is that this spectral dynamics will not just bring down the overall part. It's going to listen to the frequencies and then attend to those points that has excess. So you will see that the way this is working, okay, this part,
I am your
you can see this curve. This is just bringing down the curve at the same time, but the spectra is not going to do that. It's going to be attending to points within this range.
I am your king and your creator.
Okay, so those excess that was caused by the boosting of this frequency, the spectra is going to take care of that. So when we activate the spectral dynamic, it's going to take care of all those points. So you can still increase the rate at which the spectral dynamics act by changing the threshold and then increasing the density of that spectra. All right,
I am your king and your creator. I made a way through the desert, caused my angel.
so at this point we are adding a kind of presence. It's an extreme highness. Okay, so we are bringing down, we are lifting that up, and we are lifting it up the more by using an expander. So it's a reverse of compression, which is called an expander. Expanding this part, adding presence to the voice. All right, so this is just like balancing to every move that you have done in all these things. And you notice that overall I'm doing some local to blend the low frequency on the voice, and this is what we've got.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
You notice that breath. Okay, we are not taking out the breath, so it's not good for you to just take off all the rest. You consider some points, some breath work that we help the vocal to come alive. All right, it adds some expression to the vocal. So if you remove all this breath, that means you're taking off the expression from that artist recording.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King and your Creator. I made a way.
Okay, so the next move you want to do is to add auto-tune on that project.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
So adding auto-tune on that track will help to balance up the notes, okay, because there are some time that the artist is not actually hitting the note that is supposed to be. So as you can see, this has been corrected. There are some times that you have a slightly deviating note. You have a slightly deviating note from what it's supposed to be. So you do some correction to that, and you had the auto-tune to take care of the vibrato, the vibration that is causing distuning in the project. Because if these notes are not properly tuned and sitting well, you won't have a sweet track. So to actually get that sweet spot, you need this auto-tune, because this is gospel, so we don't actually increase the return speed too much. So we can just set it to 20 or lesser than 20, just to have a kind of proper tuning on the voice.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King and your Creator.
All right, so the next move is to send this part to an FX. Okay, so we are going to send this track to an effect track. All right, so sending it to an effect track, we call it vocal reverb, and this is the effect track. So on this effect track, it means this is sent to this vocal recording. This is sent out from the sends to this part. So there is a Y output now. It means that this voice is going to the L bus, which is the group track we created earlier, and also is being routed again. That is Y output coming out here, coming out here. So it's going out through this point, and it's also going out through this send. Okay, so whatever this L bus is receiving is the same thing the FS track is receiving. All right, on this FS track, if I just play it without adding anything on it, it's going to be like this vocal sitting on this vocal, like a double sound, sounding the same at the same time. Okay, it's going to cause a plastic sound.
I am the Lord, the Holy One.
You notice that plastic sound?
I am the Lord.
Okay, but what we want to be doing is to add a reverb on this vocal reverb, and the reverb we are using here is from UAD. It's called the Capitol Chambers. I'm using the algorithm from number 2, using this mic to mic the room. All these numbers are ambience from different rooms. So I'm using this room number 2, and I'm using this mic to mic this room. So you can see the distance from the mic to the actual speaker that is generating the ambience. So you can determine that, and then you have my decay is being set to maximum, and I have my pre-delay set to about 50 milliseconds. Okay, so it means that the reverb will wait after receiving the signal for about 50 milliseconds before the reverb comes up. All right, so I'm going to be setting this to total wet. Okay, so once this is set on, I don't need to use any of this mix. Okay, it could be anywhere, but this will work when this wet solo is switched off. So you can control the amount of mix. That is probably when you are using this plugin directly on the L bus. Instead of using this mix feature here, you are going to be using it from the send. So the send tool has a volume, a level that controls this. Okay, let's just disregard this mix and just activate the wet solo, so that all you are receiving from this track is wet. So the dry voice is coming from this lead and is coming out from the L bus. You already have the dry voice, you just want a wet, a reverb on it. So we are going to activate this wet solo, and you set the frequency for your ambience, your reverb. Okay, so let's see how it sounds.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King and your Creator.
What you notice is that it's actually competing with the vocal. So how to deal with that is you had a dynamic plugin, and in this case I'm going to be using the Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. So I'm using this dynamic on the number 3. I'm going to be setting a sidechain for it. Okay, so the kind of content I'm dealing with is a voice around this part, auto tenor part. It's a high female voice. You could set soprano and all that. That is the input type. Okay, so you are going to activate the sidechain and come here. Then all the tracks you want this plugin to control the dynamics, you are going to route it on the sidechaining routing. Okay, so now I want to send this track, which is the lead track, to the reverb, the speech to the reverb, the chorus lead to the reverb, the ad-libs to the reverb. So I'm sending speech, lead, chorus, and the ad-libs to the reverb. So on this sidechain, I'm going to be adding all of that: the speech, lead, chorus, lead, and the ad-libs. So how do I add that? I'm going to click on add sidechain, and I'm going to select all the tracks you have in your project will be listed, and you select from that. Okay, so you can also control the level that is going from each of the tracks to this plugin. Okay, it's going to be using signal from those sidechain to control the dynamics. Okay, so if the voice is not coming up, there won't be any dynamics, there won't be any compression going on. So on number 3, whenever the artist is singing, I want to bring down the level, okay, of this frequency. Number 3 of frequency. So the frequency here, I'm going to use this shape. Okay, so I'm not just going to be compressing the mid part, but I'm compressing from this point upward to the 20 or 25 kilohertz. Okay, so let's see what it is. I'm going to activate the plugin now.
I am the
Okay, let's look at it, this part, and from this now we have activated this. Then this was switched off before. Okay, so I'm putting it on now so it could receive signal to control the dynamics in this plugin.
I am the Lord.
So you can see what it's doing is bringing down the effect of the reverb. So this plugin is going to be added after the reverb. So when the reverb is coming up, this is going to suppress the reverb. That is what it's supposed to do. It's going to suppress the reverb. So by so doing, it's reducing the volume of the reverb.
I am the Lord.
Of course, you set your threshold, and the volume is the most important. And if the reverb is too much for you, you can control the level of the reverb here by reducing the send. You can also control the level of the reverb by reducing the volume of the reverb track itself, the FS track. Okay,
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King and your Creator. I made a way through the desert, caused my angels to go before you. Now I am still God. I'm on the throne. I am the Lord, the Holy One.
So you can clearly hear the difference between this voice and this voice. On this track, we have not put the auto tune there, and we have not sent it to the reverb. Okay, so you can see a huge difference.
The throne, I am the Lord.
Okay, so I'm going to be copying the auto tune here to this track. All right, so I'm copying to this place and I'm sending this now, sending out to the vocal reverb. All right, and activating it.
The throne, I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King.
So let's listen again to this.
To fall down.
Now you notice a bell sound here.
Fall down.
The down, because of the compression is doing a lot at this point, so it causes that sound. So let's bring down the waveform and you can see what we're talking about. I'll select the range of that push part and then just bring it down a bit. It means that this signal was too much on the compression, and so the compression is also doing too much on it. So by so doing, it's going to soften that part.
Hold down, hold down,
so
hold down.
So if I use a draw tool, I can actually see those points, so I can create a kind of fade on that part. Okay, now this. Okay,
hold down.
So I think this is the down part here.
Hold down, hold down.
So we can also bring down this part totally.
Hold down, hold down. I am still God. To fall down, I am still God. I'm on the throne. To fall down, I am still God.
Okay, so let's still bring up this a bit more. Okay.
To fall down, I am still God. I'm on the throne.
So imagine I have taken off the breath that you have here. That means I would have removed that expression from the artist.
Now I am still God. I'm on the throne.
Imagine what it would sound like if this breath was removed. Okay, begin to treat this voice.
I am the Lord.
As usual, I'm going to remove this space.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. I am your King, and
so if you don't want much of breath here, you can select that and bring it down.
I am your King and your Creator. I made a way through the desert.
So this breath is important here, and the next breath, I don't need that.
Through the desert, cause my
don't need this.
Desert, cause my angels to go before.
We don't need this too to be here, and we need this note to be closer, because you can see it's a bit deviated from the grid where it's supposed to be.
Angels to go.
So what causes that delay was from its breath.
Angels to go. Angels to go before.
So to go something has to happen there. Let's go to that part here
to go,
So we're bringing out the two a bit and they go a bit.
to go before, to go before you. I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down, to go before you. I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down, I am still God.
You can say the God was too early, okay?
To fall down, I am still God.
So we are going to back out the beat.
To fall down, I am still God. I'm under.
The among the throne was also late because of this breath. We don't need this breath here. So let's just take back this voice a bit.
To fall down, I am still God. I'm on the throne from eternity.
So you need that breath, but that was too much. You can just select everything here and then bring down the level.
From eternity.
Okay. So another thing you want to do here is you can add a kind of delay on this track. All right, so let's add a delay on this track. Studio delay. All right, let's see how it sounds on it.
I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one, I'm the one.
So you want to set the frequency here to the repetition.
I'm the one, 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 I'm the one.
Okay, so if you want this spatial to work, it means you have to convert this track to a stereo track instead of a mono track. So let's convert that. Okay, so you have a stereo track now, because the spatial is dealing with the width, the feedback, that's the amount of time the repetition on the delay will be caused on this delay.
I'm the one who made.
So this is the mix down the volume of the repetition, that's the delay.
I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil.
So now let's add a little bit of reverb to that delay.
I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down, I am still God. I'm on the throne.
Now you can see that every part of the voices are just being delayed. Okay, so we can control that. Even on this track, this is not the only voice on this track, so we can set an automation to activate and deactivate that plugin and then control how it operates on that sound. Okay, so all I'm going to do is to switch it off, then I'm going to write the automation actually. Okay, so I'm going to switch it on when it's supposed to come up.
You, I'm the one who made.
So as soon as I switch it on, it's going to create the automation line immediately, and by so doing I can I can then control when it's going to come up and when it's going to go off. Okay, so I can do I'm the one.
I'm the one who.
Okay, so from this point, create this and switch it off. So you can see it's on here, and when it gets to this part, it's switched off automatically. So this is how I can bring in the plugin and then take it off from action, okay, at some point by using automation.
I'm the one who made a path through the wall.
So I want the water to come up.
I'm the one who made a path through the water.
So this part is not nice. Let's take it off.
I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the child.
So let's increase the feedback. I want it to fill up the space.
Water.
A bit more.
Water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down. I am still God.
So from I am still God, let's bring it down.
Oh, I am still God. I'm on the throne from eternity.
Okay.
Cause my angels to go before you. I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down. I am still God. I'm on the throne.
Okay, so what makes this part sweet is the backups that are coming here with so we have not even treated the backups, so we'll also be treating the backups. There are lots of instruments going on there, the guitar, the strings, the pads and all that. Okay, let's bring up the pad with the backup and see how that place sounds, just to have an idea of what it is.
I'm the one who made a path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down. I am still God. I'm on the throne.
I believe you have learned a lot from how we started this track. So we are going to be doing similar things on the vocal till we finish up the mix. We are going to deal with the backups too, send them to a group and mix them properly. Then we are going to be treating all the sounds one after the other. Okay, it's going to be a long video if I'm going to go through all this from the top to the end. Okay, I'm going to be putting the end result of this mix after this video, so you could hear the end result or probably share the link to the release of the song. Please subscribe to this channel so that it can encourage us to make more videos like this for you to learn mixing and mastering techniques. Please drop in the comment box question that you want us to attend to. Give the video a thumb up and I'll see you in the next video.
I am the Lord, the Holy One. Caused my angels to go before you. I'm the one who made the path through the water. Cause the chariots of evil to fall down. I am still God. I'm on the throne. I am the Lord. Oh, I am your King. I made a way through the desert. cause my angels to go before you. I'm the one who made a path through the water, cause the chariots of evil to fall down. I am still God, I'm on the throne. From eternity through eternity, you are God. There has never been, there will never be anyone like you. From eternity to eternity, you are God. There has never been, there will never be anyone like you. From eternity, yeah, you are God. There will never be, from eternity, from eternity,